Yo, what's up, YouTube? This is your boy West Coast. Just want to give you guys an update of what's been going on with the tank. Now, when it comes to the tank, right now, as you can see, everything's going full speed ahead. Not having any major issues at all currently. But one of my pet peeves that I have with the system is, this system is sitting in my living room, and the main source of my dosing is my calcium reactor. And that being said, the calcium reactor being in my living room, if those who've had calcium reactors before, sometimes they're a little loud. So mine, it gurgles sometimes. You hear a little hissing from the CO2 going in or cycling through the media. And it's kind of annoying being in your living room. But if this was in my basement, or if this was something in my garage or something like that, it wouldn't really be a concern. Now, when it comes to the calcium reactor, if you look at my motor pump, I need to replace this hose also. This hose has probably been replaced twice within 3 years. So that is something I do not recommend anybody doing. I think it's supposed to be every certain amount of months that you should be replacing that hose, but that's something that definitely needs to be replaced. So I'll get that replaced, but here's the calcium reactor right here, and I think it's time for some upgrades. So to solve my problem, I reached out to Geo, and he's going to give me something to solve my calcium reactor problem. Now, ignore the box, you guys. The box is pretty beat up. That's not Geo's fault. That's the delivery people's fault. But actually, everything came out perfect as far as shipping-wise. Geo packed this thing pretty well. It's Geo's Super Silent Extreme Upgrade Kit. Basically, everything was packaged pretty well. This is something I can use to make my calcium reactor a lot more quieter. And I didn't have to get a whole new calcium reactor to do it. So it's just another component that I can just add onto my current reactor. As you can see, the colors is pretty much the same as my current calcium reactor, so it doesn't look off. I'm kind of an OCD guy when it comes to my whole setup. So he made everything match perfectly. Here's a new chamber. Here's the pump that comes with the chamber. So the other pump will get replaced by the current one. Some new lines here. As far as PVC, that will be inserted. Also a bunch of other attachments. It also comes with 2 different size unit seals. So that's something that you want to be careful to look at when you want to go this route. So it also comes with a plug that you use for the output on the main reactor, since that will no longer be needed. But here it is. Let's see if I can get this bad boy hooked up and see if I can make my living room a lot more quieter. I've already took apart my current calcium reactor, as you can see back there. But I'm gonna get this thing put together and see how it goes, you guys. Let's see if it's complicated to put together, but it looks pretty easy. Everything's kind of well explained. There's also a tag that comes with a QR code for the installation process. But let me get everything laid out so you guys can see what's going on, and let me get this bad boy put together. actually a really easy installation as far as setting this thing up. I got the output plug there, so that will no longer be in use, just the input. So make sure that is plugged in, so we don't want any water to spill out of there, any take water. But this is actually an easy configuration change for me. So I also gotta remember I do have another chamber, a secondary chamber that I will be hooking this up to. So let's see how it goes. So one of the things you notice on this reactor is the pump size. This pump size is totally different from my other one. It looks like it might be a lot quieter, so we'll see how it actually sounds. The drain hose is the same as the last configuration. Nothing other than that, nothing's really changed. Now I have a CO2 chamber, totally just for the CO2. And also, gotta remember, guys, I do have a secondary chamber that will be hooked up to this, so we'll see how that goes. And let's not forget about this output, so I want to make sure that thing is in. Do not want any water leaking out of my reactor here, so let's see how it goes. Here it is. The reactor's all hooked up, the second chamber is hooked up, CO2 is injected, and it's running on all cylinders right now. And all I can say, guys, is that this thing is very, very quiet. I don't hear any gurgling, any hissing, any bubbles. You don't see any bubbles in any of the first chamber or the second chamber. The only bubbles you see is in the ejection that is going into the CO2 chamber here. And you don't even hear those bubbles at all. It's very, very quiet. The loudest thing I can hear right now is basically my Kimura pump, and I'll give you guys a little demonstration real quick so you can see how it is. Now, this whole setup has been set up for about 3 weeks now, and still the same. No crazy sounds coming out of the reactor. My alkalinity hasn't changed, like it doesn't fluctuate. Everything's pretty much stable as far as your calcium alkalinity. So the reactor is running pretty smooth. I definitely, if you're one of those guys who want something quiet and it's in your living room, I definitely recommend going this route. If you already have a reactor, but if you plan on getting a reactor, I recommend going this route if you want something quiet. Like I said, it's not really needed if you have this equipment in your garage or in another room or something like that. You can get away with it, but other than that, I think it's well worth it for my setup. Like I said, this thing is sitting in my living room, and I'm happy to have something a little quieter, basically where I'm my main place of living, it's in your living space, and I want this place to be as quiet as it can be. So here you go, guys. If you like this video, you can like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Thanks.